The rumors about Dr. Umar Johnson allegedly being arrested, all because he been scamming and scheming for the past 20 years. He been working on building the school, but he acquired millions and the school's still not up and running.
According to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, with Jermaine Shermack. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar Shermack. It's Jermaine,
And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. The
internet went into a frenzy when shocking rumors surfaced that Dr. Umar Johnson had finally been arrested after years of accusations. For over 20 years, he had been collecting donations from supporters with the promise of building a revolutionary school for black boys. But after millions of dollars raised, not a single classroom was open. The money kept pouring in, but the project itself remained nothing more than a locked building with a flag out front. IRS filings under his legal name, Jermaine Shoemake, revealed financial irregularities that painted a disturbing picture. Some years showed gaps in contributions, others listed totals that didn't match the money visibly raised through platforms like GoFundMe and PayPal. Donors who once trusted him began to notice their money had vanished without trace or explanation. Then came the breaking point. The FBI cracked down, announcing federal charges that included racketeering, tax fraud, and wire fraud. These weren't small-time accusations. They were the kind of charges that put people away for decades, the kind of crimes that even Umar's charisma couldn't talk his way out of. The community was left torn and confused. Was he really a fraud, preying on his people's hopes, or was this another case of the system trying to crush a powerful black voice? When the news broke, Umar responded the way he always did, by taking to social media. He fired up an Instagram Live and launched into one of his trademark rants about being a victim of a racist system. His tone was fiery, his words dramatic, painting himself as a black leader under attack by powers that feared his vision. But this time, something was different. His voice cracked, his shoulders slumped, and for the first time, the fear in his eyes was undeniable. Behind the loud speeches, Umar was scrambling. Reports later confirmed that federal agents had already ordered him to turn himself in. Privately, he instructed his inner circle to keep everything quiet. No media circus, no interviews, no cameras. But his silent strategy collapsed almost immediately when federal documents began leaking to the public. These papers connected missing donations directly to his personal accounts. And then came the hammer blow from YouTuber Tasha K. Known for digging deep and pulling no punches, she broke down Umar's charity records line by line, showing the glaring contradictions. What he told his supporters online didn't match the filings in black and white. With paperwork, receipts, and timelines, she laid bare the inconsistencies that pointed directly to fraud. For years, Umar had positioned himself as the prince of Pan-Africanism, begging his followers to donate to his dream school, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. But, according to prosecutors, he never put up a dime of his own money. Every penny came from supporters who believed in his vision. Yet, despite millions raised, Umar never once presented a transparent report of where the money went. Each time, critics pressed him. He flipped the script, accusing public schools of failing black children, warning families not to trust the system, and insisting their money belonged in his project. But cracks kept showing. When Umar claimed the school had been vandalized, many were suspicious. He uploaded a video interrogating children he accused of the damage, but there were no police reports, no insurance claims, and no evidence to back his story. Instead, the school stayed closed, its opening pushed back again and again with new excuses each time. The numbers didn't add up either. IRS forms listed contributions of just over $321,000 in 5 years, but public campaigns had raised far more. Evidence pointed to him funneling larger sums through PayPal, Cash App, and GoFundMe, channels that were harder to trace. To many, It became clear this wasn't a project delayed. It was a project that had never been real in the first place. As investigators dug deeper, Umar's empire began to unravel. Court filings revealed he had ignored property registration fees and utilities for the school building, pushing it toward auction if payments weren't made. When called out, Umar didn't take responsibility. Instead, he claimed the fees were discriminatory and spun the issue into another victim narrative, begging supporters for donations once again. But the real bombshell came when leaked federal. Documents showed he had funneled over $1.5 million through PayPal and GoFundMe under the promise of education. Some of this money was allegedly wired overseas for educational partnerships that investigators now say never existed. Former volunteers and insiders also began speaking out, revealing that Umar pressured them to stay quiet about the financial chaos, insisting everything would balance out later. Critics like Charleston White accused him of preying on black women emotionally, using his speeches to gain their trust before pocketing their money. And then came the betrayal from within. Tariq Nasheed, once an ally and supporter, finally spoke out. He admitted he believed in the school dream at first, even donating his own money, but said Umar lost focus and turned the project into a hustle for social media clout. When even your allies echo the FBI's accusations, the walls are closing in. With his accounts frozen and donation platforms shutting him out, Umar's usual lifeline, going live and begging for emergency funds, was gone. He couldn't access cash, he couldn't spin his way out, and he couldn't silence the growing evidence. Bloggers, YouTubers, and commentators tore through his past speeches, pulling clips that contradicted each other and painted him as a manipulator rather than a leader. Former supporters began abandoning him in droves, unfollowing his pages, pulling donations, and openly calling him a fraud. The community that once defended him now mocked him online with memes and hashtags branding his school as nothing but a scam. Even worse, old records resurfaced showing he had once been accused of practicing psychology without a license, revealing a pattern of deception that stretched back years. What started as the dream of a Pan-African academy had collapsed into a nightmare of fraud, lies, and betrayal. Piece by piece, everything Umar had built, his speeches, his donations, his image, was now being used as evidence against him in federal court. Unless an impossible miracle saves him, Dr. Umar Johnson's next institution won't be a school for black boys. It will be a prison cell, where the man who once claimed to be the voice of liberation will face the consequences of his own empire of deceit.